Hey there. This is CP Cards and Dice, and I want to do a quick little video about the paper and pencil score sheets from a variety of different companies, and just to compare and contrast, and to kind of share my perceptions of these different score sheets. I guess the pluses and the minuses, and how I see it. You may see it differently. I know some of the guys. I know Dave has created his own, I believe, and there's a lot of them out there. I don't have all of them. I have about three or four of them, and I just wanted to go over them. So let's start off with the Payoff Pitch scorecard, and you know what? I like it for a couple of reasons. All right, it puts the score right in the middle, so I'm kind of close to it. It's centralized versus all the way at the top or all the way at the bottom. It has separate section for about six pictures on the top and another six pictures on the bottom, and then it gives you space for notes where you can actually put the defensive positions. You can create a little field, or you can just write in the pinch hitters or the relievers that played in this game, and then later you can just quick access to that information. So it has that little area for notes. I like it. Now another thing that it does, it really, rather than filling these up with stat boxes, it actually gives you all the way up to 15 innings. So in case you get stuck with a extra inning game, you have that set up for you. Now, if you don't get to an extra inning game, which you normally don't, you can always just put at bats, runs, hits, RBIs, and so forth, and just fill that in. So that kind of works both ways. Um, so that's nice. Now, over here, it gives you the position, and the boxes are a fair size, not huge, okay, a fair size, but it allows you to put in the information for the range, the error rating, the arm rating, the run rating, and the steal rating for each of the batters. So that's Payoff Pitch. It works now with the pitchers. It has innings pitched, hits, runs, earned runs, base on balls, strikeouts, and home runs. So that works pretty good, pretty decent. I like this one. It gives you everything you need. Um, you know, so it works. Let's look at the next one. The next one is the History Maker Baseball score sheet, and that is a little bit different. Let's see if I have one that's filled out so you can see. Now, one thing I love about History Maker Baseball score sheet is that it's got it only. Well, first of all, there's a problem. There's going to be a problem for some people just by looking at it quickly. It only goes up to 7 innings, basically. All right, so you have to use it in a different way. You can't skip the whole line after the three guys make out. You can't go to the next second inning, and that forces. Sometimes I'll get confused. Each line represents an inning, so first inning, second inning, third inning. So we'd be in the third inning. This would be the beginning of the fourth inning, right? So, or rather, the end. So the end of the first, the end of the second, the end of the third, or the beginning of the fourth, the end of the fourth. So that throws me off sometimes. So I have to like stop myself and think about it. So, and I know a lot of guys like to leave the spaces because this gets all jumbled up for them, and I get it. All right, so it's a little bit different now. I can type in my teams on these because they're online, and you can easily use it and type in your so it looks nice and neat. That's an advantage of this. Now it gives up here. It has the teams and the scoreboard, if you will. So that's included. It's got a little information about the ballpark that you're playing at, the date, and all that. That's a nice thing to have. Now it takes up space here with your visitor strategy cards. I don't use these, so this is space. I would have preferred to have just this blank, and I probably can make it that. But I'd rather have notes here, just being allowed to make notes. But they do have a little notes section there and a notes section there, so they do have the notes section. I just think this is extra for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots for pitchers, and it comes with win, loss, and save. I like that. Innings pitched, hits, runs, earned runs based on balls, strikeouts, and over here it gives you a spot to put their data, the qualities. That's important to have in History Maker Baseball. So History Maker Baseball is got a pretty nice little setup for their scorecard. The only thing that I know that is going to hold people back and they're going to be apprehensive about using it is because it doesn't go. But I really like the fact that you get a lot of space in there. So I got a lot of space to write. There's even a little field here. So I can really write in. I can write big so I can see it easily. So, you lose a little bit. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And that's where we stand with the History Maker Baseball score sheet. Now, this is a score sheet that I've used plenty of, simply because I made a bunch one time and I had them. And this is horizontal, so I'm going to turn this over. And there's some things it doesn't have, so I'm not going to recommend this. This is the one I was using at the beginning. Now, the ones I just showed you, I think they're a step above this. It gives you 2 spots. It has the starting player and the sub. Both. The only thing with the History Maker Baseball, if you look, it doesn't give you that. Okay, it gives you 1 box, so that's problematic. Whereas the Payoff Pitch does give you the 2 boxes, one for the starter and one for a sub or a pinch hitter. This one does the same. That's why one of the reasons I liked it. It takes a lot of space here, and it gives you information, gives you spots, a location to input all your data. Now I don't keep all this data, so this is a wasted space for me. Okay, I'm not a big collecting data type like iSquirrel will collect data for me. iSquirrel will collect data for me. It has a lot of wasted space around the edges. That's another problem. It has both the away pitcher and the home pitcher. Oh, that's something I want to mention about History Maker Baseball. So it has the away pitcher and the home pitcher, which I like, but it only has 4 little spots for a pitcher. So a lot of times I've had to add spots here with a ruler. So that's another problem for this. So I don't really use this anymore. I have a lot of them, so every so often I will use it. It goes up to 12 innings. And one key factor that's a really a drawback for this score sheet is it doesn't give you the scoreboard where you can input that information, and it also doesn't give you space to input data or qualities or information for each individual player. So there's a lot of negatives for this one. Now let me mention something about the one thing that's unusual to me about how History Maker Baseball sets up their pitching blocks is that they put the home pitcher with the away team and the away pitcher with the home team. Now, granted, this makes it easier when you're calculating, and that's probably why they did it. But I'm so used to having the away pitcher on top and the home pitcher and just looking kind of cross. That throws me off as well. Anyway, all right, so this is kind of a generic score sheet that you can find online, but I don't recommend it. Let me see what else we got here. I think the worst out of all of them, the worst score sheet out of all of them, and here, look at all these copies that I have here, is this one. This is the old school Statis Pro baseball score sheet. This to me is by far the absolute worst score sheet. First of all, I don't even know where to start with this. Let's see if I can get to a blank spot. First of all, if you look at this, it gives you all this space. Here it allows you to input the data, but it's so small. The boxes are so small. All right, here it's going to allow you to get all this information. It takes up a lot of space for all the stats, which I don't keep. I'm not interested in. Then it gives you only one line, and you can barely fit anything in there. And then it gives you a little tiny itty bitty box that's made smaller by a double line for the position. So I guess you got to put the number in because it's very hard to fit shortstop, center field. You got to write so small that you don't you're not even able to read it. It only goes up to 9 innings. So if you run into an 11-inning game, you're cooked because there's barely any space anywhere else. The line score again goes up to 10, and then it has runs, hits, and errors where you could actually do that. So it does have a line score section, which is good. So I think that it's just very, very small. It doesn't give you much space to write it all. Everything is tiny. And let me see. At the bottom, it doesn't really give you any place to do notes. It does give you a place to put the date of the game. It gives you a spot to write in errors, pass balls, and double plays, and caught stealing. Who writes double plays? I mean, it's okay if you do, but I know I don't write, the double play and what players touch the ball and all that. Caught stealing. Stealing basically nowadays, I'm not a big base stealer. Unless it's somebody like Lou Brock and I'm playing the 70s or something like that, or Ricky Henderson in the 80s. I'll steal every so often with the right guy, but I think that's just kind of waste of space. All right, and then you have reduction. You have a huge reduction. I don't know exactly what I guess they want you to do little lines maybe and keep track of. I don't know, because the board itself for Statis Pro has a place to keep reduction information. So I don't know why that space is so huge there. Then again, it has hits. Innings pitched, hits, and then runs, but no earned runs. And then it has all this other stuff. HR, I guess that would be home runs, wild pitch, hit batsman, and balks. Come on, I need a balk all the way down for every single pitcher? That barely happens, maybe once in a blue moon. Hit by pitch for every single pitcher? That's wasting a lot of space. They kind of pushed in everything, and there's really no space to write in these boxes. So this, I would have to tell you that I would definitely not recommend this score sheet. I use it because of nostalgia, just because it's old school, and it's the original score sheet that came out in the 70s and the 80s. So it's kind of cool to go back in time and use that. But I would not recommend anybody using this score sheet. So, and that's it. You can see everything pretty much. That's all I wanted to say. I think that's about it. These are the 4 score sheets I'm reviewing today. And I'm going to look at this video real quick and make sure. And I noticed that things were not in line. On top, I kind of put it up like that. And I hope you guys were seeing what I was talking about. Anyway, this is CP Charts and Dice, and saying so long for my review on the 4 score sheets I have. Take care.